So without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome to the stage my first guest. Someone who's flown in all the way from Jeddah. We're going to be hearing a lot more about that and Jeddah Airport. Please put your hands together for Mazen Johar, who is the CEO of Jeddah Airport. How's your morning been? Welcome to Lisbon.
Good morning. It's a very nice, warm morning, so good to be here.
A lot fresher than the Middle East, says someone who's also coming from the region. But let's get down to business. I mean, we've got 15 minutes on the clock, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. But this is a big year, a historical year for Jeddah Airports, and there's a big anniversary. 80 years. Tell us more.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Today, we're very happy to announce that aviation in Jeddah is more than 80 years. Our first flight to Jeddah International Airport was 1st of September 1945. So last month, we celebrated our 80 years anniversary. So that's a very rich history of aviation. In 1981, the new airport of King Abdulaziz International Airport opened in 1981. And by year 2019, we had Terminal 1. Moving forward, 2022, Jeddah Airports Company has been formed to take the transformation of the airport into the next stage. So that's in a quick glance of Jeddah Airport history, more than 80 years, and today is building the future.
You mentioned there this rich history. What for you was the most pivotal moment over those last 80 years?
Jeddah as a city, it's an old city. It's more than 1,000 years old. So it's a very rich and has a huge history and has a huge welcoming culture and warmth. So as we move into that aviation, so we were building that culture of the welcoming culture. And as we build our new technology, new terminal, building that is the key achievement we would like to build and capitalize on.
I think that's also a testament to the city. We just spoke off stage, and we were talking about how traditionally it being, a coastal port, and the fact that there's such an amalgamation. It's always been a destination that's welcomed people from all around the world, correct?
That's correct. And Jeddah as a city, it's located within 5 hours from 100 destination. Within a 5 hours flight from 100 destination. It's also very important, it's the gateway to the two holy cities of Mecca and Medina. So by design, by location, it's strategically located almost at the connection point between 3 continents, and it is as well the gateway for the two holy cities of Mecca and Medina.
We're going to talk more about that a little later with you in our panel in terms of the interconnectivity of the airport, the pilgrimage packages that you put on, which are utilized by millions every year. In terms of growth and expansion, tell us a little bit more about Jeddah Airports. I believe you've seen double-digit growth over the last 10 years. That was proven just after the pandemic. And talk to us about the impact of that and how you're still continuing to rise.
I mean, based on the location, we are blessed with our current location. What we see for the last 2 decades, we were almost doubling our passenger numbers every 10 years. And this decade is no exception. We're planning to double as well. And since the pandemic, we have double-digit growth every year. This year, actually, we're already above 10% growth year to date. So we continue to see that growth. Enabled to accommodate, we have a growth in our demand more than our capacity. Today, the total airport capacity is around 45 million. This year, we forecast we're going to close the year roughly in the range of 55 million passengers. So we are already around 15% higher than our capacity. So based on that, we're building a very aggressive plan just to match our demand requirement. So we have, next year, we have a new terminal coming up. That's the plan. It's going to accommodate an additional 15 million passengers. Also, every 2 to 3 years, we will be opening a new terminal just to make sure we can afford the growth plan we have in Jeddah Airport.
What do you think has been the main contribution to you having to make those expansion and growth plans? You know, why are you seeing so much more footfall coming through Jeddah?
Recently, I think in year 2016, a key change happened into the Saudi vision with the Saudi Vision 2030, and the tourism is opening up, an additional requirement as well to accommodate. So we see the huge growth and the huge demand. So this is the moment where the demand starts exceeding our capacity.
What's the biggest challenge for you? You mentioned there you're going to be opening these new terminals. I mean, just where do you start on those blueprints and those plans?
Now, the challenge is, it's a good challenge because you have a growth demand higher than the capacity, and that's a good problem to have in business in general. So it's a good challenge. Today, the investment, how far can we do the investment? What's the speed of implementation and execution? The capability, the talent around it, the financial sometimes could be also, it's a challenge, but it's also opportunity for others to join. We estimate over the next 5 years, our estimated budget is above than $30 billion of investment just to accommodate for the capacity required by 2030.
Amazing. You know, your future's definitely looking optimistic. And in terms of that investment, I believe the figure is at around 30 billion.
For the first 5 years.
For the first 5 years only. So that's a lot of money.
It's another 30 the following 5 years.
So everything's on the table. Tell us how you're going to make this happen.
Today, what we're doing as a Jeddah Airport, we're looking into the growth of the passenger. Today, we have a very healthy financial moving forward. We're building our capacity in a way that it provides our continuous growth of our financial. So we accommodate and commission terminal as we need. As I mentioned earlier, we're already 10 million passengers above our capacity. The next year terminal, which we're gonna open, it's a 15 million. So it's almost 80% full. It's even before we open. So we're trying to match our growth in alignment with our demand just to make sure our financial capability stay healthy throughout.
Where does Jeddah Airport sit in the landscape domestically within Saudi Arabia, and then where do you position it in a global context within the aviation industry?
Well, that's an important question. If we look into the Saudi Vision 2030 and how it cascades to the General Authority of Civil Aviation strategy, Jeddah almost is providing more than 30% of Saudi aviation capability. So since we're targeting more than 300 million passengers by 2030 in Saudi, Jeddah is going to be, the capacity in Jeddah Airport is going to be more than 110 million passengers. So that's roughly around 30%. Now, having said that, on the global front, Jeddah this year with the 55 million passengers, I believe we are number 37 to number 36 ranked in terms of the number of the passenger. So we start getting into what I will call it the champion league of aviation. So this is where we are now as a Jeddah Airport.
If you could go back to your tenure when you started in this role and give yourself a bit of advice that you know now to you starting out as the CEO, what would that be?
it's a great role. I mean, aviation as an industry, it's a great industry. And being in a role for almost 1 year and a half, it's true I did a different roles in a different industry before. I came with a background trying to benchmark, trying to analyze how is it going versus other airports. But then what you realize in aviation, it's much bigger than benchmarking. It's the whole ecosystem. How does the ecosystem, how does the government in general works? That's one. Second is passenger experience and passenger requirement always differ. It's not the same. Sometimes you have a very specific requirement. In Jeddah Airport, for example, more than 30% of our passengers, they are first-time traveler. So we have a very different need for a first-time traveler and the way we manage their experience compared to the advanced, sophisticated business traveler, I will say.
Well, we're definitely going to hear more about that in our panel discussion in about 15 minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, please, can you put your hands together for Mazen Johar, the CEO of Jeddah Airport?
Thank you. Thank you.